Hey everyone, thank you for tuning into Team Forbidden's YouTube page again. It is Andrew the Collector here, back with another Traptrix update, post the ban list that happened earlier this week. So I'm not going to really get much into this deck because I profiled it a few times before, but this deck is slowly becoming one of my favorites. So I want to give you an opportunity to really utilize and understand this deck for every major update, whether it's a ban list or set or support that comes out for it. So let's just go ahead and get into it. So the main staples of the deck are going to be 3 Traptrix Murmello, searches your trap hole trap cards, and it pops a spell or trap when it's special summoned. 3 Mantis. Basically, the first effect is the same as Murmello, except you search out your Traptrix monsters. Traptrix Pudica. Sorry, I'm going to be butchering these names again. Normal summon, you search out the field spell, and when she's special summoned, you can target a special summon monster your opponent controls, banish it, and during the next standby phase, they can special summon one of their banished monsters back, in which case you'll probably have a trap hole that you can use to either destroy it or get rid of it. And 3 Arachnacampa. Once per turn, it protects your back row from being destroyed, and she is a once per turn special summon from hand. Really good to get your combos off. 2 Traptrix Dinoia. When she is normal summoned, target a Traptrix monster in your graveyard and special summon it. And when she's special summoned, set a trap hole trap card from your graveyard to your side of the field, but banish it after 2 turns. And then 1 Traptrix Vesquilo. You can send a face down trap card that you control the graveyard to special summon her. And if you control no cards in your spell and trap zone, you can banish this card from your graveyard and target a whole trap, normal trap in your graveyard and set it. You mainly use her for her first effect, but I think that she is still decent, a decent one of. And all of the main deck Traptrix monsters are unaffected by trap hole trap cards, just in case you go into those pesky mirror matches, which are not fun. And then round off the monsters, we have 3 Ash Blossom because it's Ash Blossom. Don't need to go into that. Now off to the spells, we have 2 Trip Garden. It has 3 effects. During your main phase, you get an extra normal summon. Once per battle for each monster, that monster can't be destroyed by battle. And once per turn, you can banish a monster that you control to special summon a Traptrix monster from your hand or graveyard. So you mainly use it for the extra normal summon, but those other effects do come up a lot, and it's really good. And round off these spells, we have 3 Pot of Prosperity, because it's really good. You don't use a lot of cards in your extra deck as often as you would think, so this card is really versatile, and it helps with good searching. Plus, this card has been reprinted last year in the Rarity Collection, so this definitely makes this deck a lot more budget friendly. Off to the traps, 3 Traptrix Heliota. It's a once per turn trap monster that you can special summon in defense, and the turn that you set it, you can activate it by discarding a normal trap card from your hand. 2 Floodgate Trap Hole, the best trap hole card. When a monster your opponent controls is summoned, you flip it face down, and it can't be flipped back face up, or change its spell position, basically. The only deck that this card doesn't really affect is going to be Branded or some kind of fusion deck, because they could still fuse with their cards face down. But any other deck that's Synchro, Xyz, or even Link based, they can't utilize those materials that are face down. So this is really good. 2 Gravedigger Trap Holes. When your opponent activates an effect in the hand, graveyard, or banished, activate this, negate it, and burn them for 2k. Really good. 2 Traptrix Trap Hole Nightmare. When a monster has special summon this turn, activates effects, negates effects, and destroy it. Simple and sweet. Terrifying Trap Hole Nightmare. If your opponent special summons a monster, or if your opponent has a special summon monster, target one monster that with 2,000 or more attack, destroy it. Then, if you have a trap hole in your graveyard, you can banish one monster from their graveyard, all within the same effect. So yeah, if they have any monsters that would get effects off of being destroyed by this card, you can banish that and they won't get that effect. So keep that in mind moving forward. And 1 Bottomless Trap Hole monster summoned that with 1,500 or more attack is destroyed and banished. And then next is going to be 3 infinite permanents, this infinite permanents, and 3 evenly matched, which is what we use if we go second. I do like to main this. I've always liked to main this in Traptrix. Really good in case you're going second to just wipe out, to do any board clearing or bait out any negates that you need. Off to the extra deck. 3 Sierra, really good. Specials from the deck and sets from the deck whenever you use corresponding trap or monster effects. Bread and butter of the deck, no less than 3. Same thing with Refacilia. She gives target protection and destruction protection to all your Traptrix monsters except for herself. And once per turn, you can detach material from her and send a trap hole card from your deck to your graveyard. And her effect basically becomes that trap's effect. 2 of her Pingulika. She has a few effects. First off is that she's unaffected by trap cards, which all of the extra deck Traptrix monsters are, but she's also unaffected by monsters effects of the same type of the monsters that she has as material. How is that relevant? Well, once per turn, when a monster that your opponent controls is destroyed or banished by a card effect, you can choose one of those monsters to attach to her as material. And that's not just your effects. If they use any of their effects to banish their cards, their monster cards, it still applies. So yeah, really good. And once per turn, you detach a material from her to search out a Traptrix monster. And she's a good 25 body. And then just 1 Traptrix Atipus. It's whatever. Unaffected by trap cards like the rest of the Traptrix monsters. While you have a normal trap card in your graveyard, all of your Traptrix monsters gain 1,000 attack. So completely. So that's really good. So you can basically make her 28. You make her 35. You can basically make all your monsters pretty good beat sticks to push for the end game or to board clear. And once per turn, you can target face-up cards your opponent controls equal to the number of insect and plant monsters that you control, negate their effects, and apply the following effect. By banishing a normal trap card, you can destroy one of the cards targeted by this card. So good at clear, as long as they don't have target protection, it's good at doing a mass field negation and popping one of the cards if you banish a trap card in your graveyard. Super good. And then 1 Linkuriboh, because I'm still afraid of the Iblock. You got to respect the Iblock. And going into Linkuriboh provides you with extra protection against cards like Evenly Matched or Infinite Impermanence. So yeah, really good. And then 1 Elder Entity Entis, in case I run into the Maximus build with Centurions. It's just good to have these 2 cards because you need to respect those strategies. If you don't and you're caught off guard by them, it's your own fault. Now off to the Super Poly targets, we have Giltia Gearfried for the Baron and the IP Little Knight. Garura, Muddragon, and Predaplant Dracostapelia. So yeah, these are my go-to Super Poly targets for the deck. Yeah, and this also applies if you need to send something from the deck to the graveyard to get an extra draw. Yeah. Off to the side deck, 3 Nibiru. Nibiru has become more relevant in the upcoming formats, especially with stuff like Fire Kings or Centurions or any other combo decks. Ghost Sister and Spooky Dogwood for time rulings, basically. If you go into the elusive game 3 and it goes down to 2 minutes, you activate this card and the time runs out, you have more life points. GG's. 2 Crossout Designator because Nibiru also hurts this deck. Plus Infinite Impermanence and Ash Blossom and all the other hand traps that we don't like. Evenly Matched too. 2 Super Poly targets because it's Super Poly. 2 Herald of the Abyss for Purely. Even though Purely did get hit on the list somewhat, it wasn't enough to really deter players from using the deck. I still think that Purely is a monster threat for the upcoming format. So I want to have these and not be able... And I'd rather have these and not need them because you can use these for any other card that's unaffected or basically hard to get over. And because I like this more than the Exceeds Encore, because the Exceeds Encore is specifically for exceeds monsters, whereas this can be any monster that you want that's on the that your opponent controls, just as at a mere 1,500 life points. Soundproofing. This is for God, what is the synchro archetype that is real? Manadium. That's it. This is for Manadium. It's basically, if you guys haven't seen this card, is you activate this at the start of your main phase, and only if you control no face-up synchro monsters, which you won't. Neither player can special summon a synchro monster until your opponent's next end phase. So if you go into game 2 and you know they're playing Manadium or some kind of synchro heavy build, you activate this at the start of your main phase 1, and that basically gives you a free. That basically means that they'll have to skip their turn if all they run are synchro monsters, because they won't be able to synchro summon during their turn, which means that you get an extra turn to go for the win. And then 2 anti-spell fragrance for Runic. And that is it for the deck profile, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in again. So yeah, like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell down below for notifications, and we'll catch you guys later.